the importance of you slowing down so you can speed up. If you don't stop and measure where you've been, it's really hard to get to where you want to go. And I think so many times we just get stuck in this business and we're in this hamster wheel of we just got to work harder and harder and harder and harder. We are spinning our wheels and we're not getting traction. Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Smith, the founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate. This podcast is a movement to give back to this amazing industry has given so much to me and my family. Guys, today I have a very special episode. I feel like I say that every time, but I really mean it. I hope they're all special. They're all special to me. I hope they're special to you. But literally today, we just did a go to the board exercise with our team. It is a quarterly exercise where we meet with our team. We kind of get a pulse on where we are with our business. We kind of slow down and analyze what happened in Q1. What did we do well? What do we need to do differently? What adjustments do we need to make in Q2? And it was an amazing day, and it had me inspired to just come right on the podcast. Literally, we did this an hour ago. And I wanted to just record an episode while it's top of mind and share with you guys the takeaways, the lessons, the things that we learned by doing this exercise. So hopefully we can inspire you to do the same. Actually, I have a special guest that's been on the episode. She's almost a regular now. Jenna Swift, welcome back.
What's up?
Jenna is the COO for our organization. And so she is the one that keeps all the wheels turning and keeps all of the craziness in my life organized. So I said something on a call the other day. I said, everyone needs a Jenna. My life is crazy enough with Jenna in it. I couldn't imagine without it. So that's why I brought her to the show, is so that we can have she can give you some structure and some detail behind the scenes of how to set this up if you're curious. And I just want to give you the bigger picture, the visionary stuff, and honestly, the emotional high that I'm on right now by seeing my team commit to each other, build relationships, and win together at an extremely high level. So Jenna, what is Go to the Board?
So Go to the Board is a goal setting session for your agents. It's a lot more than just setting goals, though. The whole purpose of it is for agents to get crystal clear on where it is they want to go in life, and how they're going to get there. So we really work them through what is their production goal? What do they need to do to make that production goal happen? What's going to change in their life? That's the biggest one. We'll spend a lot of time on that, I'm sure. What's the one thing that will change in your life when you hit that goal? And then what level of accountability do you want? It's super simple, 4 questions, and we try to go deep and dig and figure out what's working, what's not working. And it is a great self-discovery tool for agents and helps reset focus for all of them and where they're wanting their business to go.
Absolutely. And those of you listening, if you want a copy of kind of our, I don't know if you call it agenda, whatever you would call it, our agenda and our process, our step-by-step process of how you set it up, just reach out to me. I'm happy to share that. And maybe if we're smart enough, I'm not sure. I'm not, but someone on my team is. We can maybe even put a link of it in the show notes for you guys. And I think why I say that is because it's a visual thing, right? Like, and I'll do my best to explain it, but where I really want to spend the majority of the time is the importance of you slowing down so you can speed up. If you don't stop and measure where you've been, it's really hard to get to where you want to go. And I think so many times we just get stuck in this business and we're in this hamster wheel of we just got to work harder and harder and harder and harder. And we are spinning our wheels and we're not getting traction. And so whether that's for a team leader, whether that's for a team, whether that's for an agent, I think it applies all the same. And so one of the things that I love about it is that it forces us every single quarter to slow down. Let's review our game film. Let's see where did we say we were going to be? What was our goal? Where are we? Right? It's no judgment. It's just we are where you are. And now one of my favorite questions to ask with the agents is when, say, they had a goal of 40 homes for the year and they're at 5. Awesome. Congrats on the 5. Tell me something that you did well in quarter 1 that you want to continue in quarter 2. I want to highlight a win. And it sounds really simple, but here's the magic behind it that you have to be in these rooms to feel, is that most of the agents struggle to answer that question. because they don't slow down to reflect on that so that they can realize what they need to do more of. And it really helps them narrow their focus on doing the most important things that is moving the needle. So, and it gives them a victory too, right? In case they're not, sometimes we're off track, right? And so I like to start with a win and a victory. My next favorite question to ask them is, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently? Knowing what you know now, is there anything you wish you would have done differently? And so I'm going to ask each and every one of you right now. You had goals for quarter one. Quarter's over. Knowing what you know now, is there anything you wish you would have done differently? What is it specifically? Why was it important? How would that have changed your results in quarter one? And more importantly, what is that going to do to impact your results in quarter two? And I think, Jenna, you would agree, you see the power in those questions when they're at the board, right?
Yeah, there was even one today. It really stumped him, and he said we all know each other very well. We have a great culture, and he said, "Man, that's a really tough question. I think that's probably why you asked it." But we're like, "Yeah, it is." So, but yeah, no, it gets the agents thinking, and honestly, it's one of those things where if you're there's so many people in this world that just work like aimlessly, and if you ask them like what's a goal or what's a measurable, they'll just like throw something out there. There's nothing behind it, there's no anything, it's just thrown, and then like you get 3 quarters in, you're like, hey, where are you at in that? I'm like, I don't even remember what I told you my goal was. Like, I don't even know where I'm at. Or if you're lucky enough and they do remember, it's like, okay, well, what activity is it going to take to get there? Like, I don't know, I don't track anything, like I have no clue.
Yeah,
There's no traction, there's no nothing, and they just work aimlessly, fingers crossed, blindfolded, hoping that they're going to hit their goal at the end of the year. And so many are shocked too. They get to the end of the year, they didn't hit their goal. I'm like, what happened? Like, they had no game plan, they had nothing. The great thing about us doing this quarterly, asking these questions quarterly, checking in, and we do a lot more than that too. Like, this is our go to the board with the whole team, but we as a leadership team are checking in weekly, monthly. Like, we're staying on top of this stuff because it is so much easier to make a quick adjustment when you just barely start getting off track versus getting into Q3, realizing you have this massive gap and now you got to turn a whole cruise ship.
absolutely. And again, I just want to re-emphasize the importance of tracking your numbers, right? That if you're listening to me long enough, you know that's if you're not tracking, you cannot improve what you do not measure. You cannot improve what you do not measure. And most of you listening are probably listening because you hope there's some area of your life or your business you can improve. So what is your measuring stick? Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. No judgment, but it is what it is. And knowing what you know now, is there anything I want to change? What do I want to do more of? What do I need to do less of? It's really, really simple, but so many people don't do it. And then they start working on accident instead of on purpose. And like a couple of people, as an example, before I go to the next stuff and go deeper on this, I really want people to understand the importance of this part. Like, we had people that came up to the board, that we had an agent that had her first 6 months of last year, I think she sold 2 homes. Her first quarter of this year, she sold 10. And she said the difference was she started actually paying attention to her business. She was showing up every day regardless. But she started looking at how she was showing up, what she was focused on, what her intentions were, and she started tracking more intently and started getting more focused on doing the right things in the right order. And then magically, her business is 5x the next 6 months. Right? Like, it's what I really think is crucial is that anyone can find areas like that they can improve. We are probably our own worst critics. And so there's something that you can go back and say, wish I would have done that better. Awesome. Now you know. Are you going to do it or are you not? Right? But so many people don't even slow down to look back and reflect and say, man, what did I do well so I can do more of that? And what did I do that was maybe not the best and highest use of my time so I can stop doing that so I can do other things? It's really, really, really simple. but that's why it's so effective.
Are you a real estate team leader that is frustrated, dealing with unproductive agents, loss of revenue, market shifts, or maybe you feel like I've felt and beating your head against the wall trying to grow your team, or maybe even keep your team together? Well, good news, I may have your solution. Matt Smith here with Matt Smith Real Estate Group. I'm also partnered with John Cheplack and Cheplack Life Coaching. For the last 2 years, I've coached team leaders across North America, helping them reach and exceed their goals and grow their business. One of the things that I found is most important, and I've got personally coaching with John Cheplack, is learning the leadership language and learning how to become a better leader and apply those principles in my organization. I believe in contribution and giving back to this industry that's given so much to me. So if you like what you hear on this podcast and you feel like you're in alignment with some of the things that I share here for free, but you want a little bit more, you want to learn more, you want some more guidance, you want some more tactics, some more strategies, send me a text. Text Discovery Call to 573-261-6778.
It's also going into like, what are your commitments and are you executing them at the highest level? So sometimes it's things that are getting in the way and stuff like that. But sometimes it's like, well, my commitment was 20 conversations a week and I had 3 weeks where I did 20 conversations. And you get to the board and they're like, well, I want to do 30 conversations a week now. It's like, well, were we executing on the standard that we had placed to begin with? Like, are we playing full out with what we've already committed? And are we measuring it as done or not done? There are some things in life that are not black and white, but that is something that is black and white. It's either done or it is not done. And you will see the pain too. Like you see the pain that an agent, or even myself with the goals that I set, when it's like, well, it's not done, but I got this and this and this and this. And it's like, that's great, but it's not done. Black and white, it's not done.
Not done, end of sentence. I'm not mad at you and I'm not judging for it, but yeah, buts don't serve you. Yeah, buts don't serve the world. Yeah, buts don't serve the mission. Yeah, buts don't serve the family. Get rid of your yeah, buts. You either did it or you didn't. Accept it, own it, and move on. And I think so many people struggle with that. And a lot of that is we're just not clear on what our goals should be, right? And you can learn as you'll get better at setting those goals and those quarterly metrics as you learn. But I think step one of the power of go to the board, and it's going to get way better, right? There's some really, really good stuff in this. But step one is just, when's the last time you paused, you reflected, and you watched your game film of where are the lessons from my past that I can use to propel my future? There's so many lessons in our past. What did we learn last quarter that I can apply to make this quarter better? And I think there's a lot of power in being able to slow down and do that. The next thing is, so after we do that, we say, all right, where's your goal? Then we ask those questions that I asked about what is something you did well? What is something that knowing what you know now, is there anything you wish you would have done differently? And we go deep on that depending on the person, the individual, we meet them where they are. The whole important part of this, leaders, I want you to understand, if you're doing this for your team, the power in this is through self-discovery, them saying it, not you. So what question can I ask to get them to say the answer that I believe is true? And once they say it and they have the realization, then everything changes. So self-discovery is just magical in these moments. But once you go through that, then we ask, if you could only pick one thing, not 3, not 7, not 17, one thing to commit to. That is an activity that would get you on track to hit your goals in quarter 2. What is that thing? So many people, even knowing they've been to this, we do this every quarter, they've been to 6 of them, and they still want to write 3 things up there. Right? Jenna's laughing because it drives me nuts, because what happens is, and I understand human behavior, and it's like we get in this weird mode of, we see all the gaps in our business because, wait a minute, I actually had to force myself to slow down and go back and look at what could I have done better. And so it's really good thing they see those things they could do. But we struggle as humans, especially real estate agents. Most of us are operating day to day in overwhelm. And so what happens when you're a human being is in overwhelm? You panic and you freeze. And most agents that are struggling because they're frozen and there's lack of action. And so it's not because you don't have the right plan, it's because you're not doing the right action. And so what I want to get people out of in this exercise is, let's simplify this. Let's get rid of all the fluff. If you can only pick one thing, what is the one thing that would move the needle the most? And we make sure it's smart. And Jenna's going to have to help me with what SMART means, hopefully. Specific, measurable.
Specific, measurable, attainable, SMAR, realistic, and time bound.
Yes, I think that's
There you
it. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Because as an example, I need to call more people. More is not a number. And a call doesn't necessarily get you the result. And so I ask great questions around that. Awesome. How many? How much by when is a great question to ask when people are struggling to get specific with that. How much by when? So how many calls by when? And if calls isn't good enough, what I will do is I will turn to the team and be like, "Hey guys, do we think that that's the commitment, the action that will get Jenna where she needs to go?" And the group has been trained enough because we do this a lot. Be like, "No, that's not very specific." Awesome. What would be some suggestions you would have for Jenna? Well, maybe we should do conversations instead of phone calls. Awesome. Why would that be important? Right? Like I know all of this stuff, but I'm asking instead of telling so that we have self-discovery. And then I would say, well, Jenna, why do you think a conversation may be more valuable than a dial? Well, we're in a contact sport. I can't sell real estate if I don't have a conversation. I totally agree. You think maybe we should adjust it to conversations? What would you like your commitment to be? Right? And it's just like these simple things that move the needle. And then you tie a loop and a knot around this one thing. And it really has to be very clear what that one thing is. And one of the things that we adjusted here this time, and we're always learning and evolving, and I have a pulse on our organization. So I always adjust based upon where we are. But one of the things that I did very consciously today was when we talked about the one thing, I made sure that it was very clear what the one thing was. But I also circled back at the end of it, and everyone went around the room and I said, Jenna, what was your one thing for the day? Susie, what was your one thing for the day? And everyone said it out loud in front of everyone. And then also, we are going to, as leadership team, print out their one thing on a piece of paper and put it on their desk so they see it every day. I even recommended, this was from Nikki. Nikki, I don't remember her last, Pice? I don't know. The conversion queen, Nikki. That's what everybody knows her by. But she made a suggestion to put it on your screensaver. Right. And I even said that at the end of today is I think that's genius. And some people may say, well, Matt, that's obsessive. Awesome. That's what wins. Because another thing that I mentioned to my team too is that I'm here to help and I'm here to support. I'm your business partner. And I want you to win more than anyone else in the world. But if you come to me and you ask me a question and I say, awesome, thank you, Jenna, for the question. Before I answer, did you do your thing? And your answer is no. I'm going to say, awesome, go do the thing and then come back and I'll help you. Because the best way that I can help you as your leader and as your business partner is to help you stay committed to the one thing you said was most important for your business. Quit butting your way out of the commitments you made to yourself. And when you can really make a tie down around that in an environment and the culture upholds that for each other, and team members will hold another team member accountable to that one thing at that level, that's where you get results like what we get in our organization. That's where the standards lead the organization, and you lead from principle and standards, not personality. Jenna, what are your thoughts on that?
One of the things I want to circle back to that he talked about that's a really, really important part of this one thing conversation is we talked a little bit about self-discovery and how Matt kind of facilitates that conversation. At no point is Matt saying your commitment should be this 20 conversations a week. Your commitment should be this. Based on what you're telling me, this is what I think it should be, because it is absolutely critical that commitment that they're making is 100% their commitment. If it's not their commitment, or if it's my commitment or Matt's commitment, they are way less likely to do it because it means nothing to them. They don't have any skin in the game, basically. So it's super important that how you're facilitating those conversations, you're getting them to say, and you're challenging it too. Like they might even say, like, well, I think I should do 40 conversations a week. And that you're saying, okay, that's a great goal to have. When's the last time you did 40 conversations in a week? Like, oh, well, like 3 years ago, maybe. So, okay, so what's a more like normal number for you? It's like, well, maybe, 15. Well, would 20 be like a stretch for you, or where would that be? I think 20 is that's a good stretch. So we're help coaching them and facilitating the environment to bring them to something that's really truly attainable for them. So we don't want them to be doing some crazy commitment that they actually don't mean. We want them to commit to something, again, done or not done, setting them up for success that might challenge them, but they're going to achieve it if they put their like heart in it. But it is their commitment.
So good. It's so important if you're a leader listening. You have to realize that you are a business partner with these individuals. And one of the biggest mistakes, and I still struggle with this as a leader, but I've gotten so much better because I've learned from my mistakes. But it's still a struggle because I have a heart and I see and I want what is best for everyone. And I have this ability to see potential in people. And whenever you as a leader want something more for someone than they want it for themselves, nothing drives a wedge between that relationship quicker than that. It comes from a good place, but you have to stop it as a leader. Your job is to meet them where they are and help them accomplish what they want. And then when they are ready to adjust their goals and increase it, you're there to help. You may kind of encourage or influence in that direction, but it has to be their goal. It has to be their number, not yours. Very important part.
I get asked all the time, Matt, how can I partner with you? I love what I learned in your podcast. I love what you said in this speech. I love the success that your team has created, and I want to be a part of it. I want to partner with you. How can I work with you? Our team has been with eXp Realty since 2018. And we love eXp for how the collaboration, the community, all the support they provide to our team and our business. And so if you're interested in learning how can I partner with Matt, what do the options look like? You can have coaching. I have a lot of free stuff like I'm giving you on this podcast, but there's so many other ways that we can partner together and we can be in alignment and we can collaborate and we can actually help you grow your business through a strategic partnership. Imagine being in financial alignment with the people that you looked up to, the people that you took advice from, and you actually work together to create a community where teams are working with each other and collaborating versus competing. So if this interests you, text me, partner, to 573-261-6778.
Something else that you had mentioned was like the making sure that it's attainable. I think too many times what'll happen is we as humans and in a room of our peers, we feel pressure to come up there and put a big number so we can look good in front of our team. What I love about our team is that we have a safe environment. And there are some people that they need 8 conversations. There's an agent that said they want 70 closings this year. There's another one that said they wanted 20. In the same room. And we're here to support you the same. Because our environment, we meet you where you are. We have a standard, right? Don't fall below this. But it's really important that you allow that safety in that environment and you don't feel that person that wants to do 20, that they feel less than because they're doing 20 and not 70. And I'm not a participation trophy guy. That's not what I'm saying. But if it's within your standard and they're a great culture fit and it's still a great living for them and that's what they want, who are you to get in their way? You're supposed to help and support them. It doesn't mean we don't encourage. It doesn't mean we don't want them to be better. We don't want to give the environment for when they're ready, they're able to take the next step. But whenever you're able to look at it through that lens, what is really, really cool is the environment continues to grow because people around them grow and they see what is possible and they get what I call a borrowed belief because of the environment. And they see that 20 was well below what they're capable of. But they see it for themselves instead of me forcing it down their throat. And that's where you build a culture. And that's where you build a community. And that's where you get to do something I'm so passionate about each and every day. As I show up, I get to help impact and change people's lives because of our environment, because of exercises like this. That's how important and crucial this exercise is.
Yeah. I think too, if you are a leader facilitating this exercise, it's important to kind of have 2 eyes. One, you have an eye on the person in front of you who's doing the actual go to the board. It's about them in that moment. It's not about anyone else. That's their moment for you and them to be business partners, to work through their business plan. But it's important to also have an eye on your culture, because I think that this go to the board exercise is a great tool to see where the health of your culture is as a team. If you've got people throwing shit up there that they don't believe in, that's a red flag. If you've got people, saying this is my one thing, and you ask the question, like, do you guys feel like this activity is going to get them to that? And no one's honest, that's a red flag. Like, I love that our environment is honest. They're like, no, that's not smart. Like, I don't think that's a smart. No, we're not saying you're dumb, but we're saying that's not specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, or time bound. Like, we're saying we need to adjust this, but we're doing it as a team. And
That's so funny. That actually happened today. I
it
asked
did,
the
yeah.
room, is that smart? And there was a new agent in the room. He's like, yeah, that's smart. And everyone laughed because like he didn't understand that it was
Yeah.
the acronym.
He thought we were saying like she was dumb or something. But we're like, no. But I think it's a great tool to see where the health of your culture is. How quickly can your culture lean into conflict? Are we able to hold each other truly accountable? It's not just the leader holding somebody accountable, but does your environment hold each other accountable? So it's important you've got dual eyes in those moments.
Absolutely. And now I want to move on to my favorite part of this exercise. And then I want to share some wins from today. My favorite part of this exercise is everything that we talked about is really, really important, but they pale in comparison to this next part. And this is the part where I think humans struggle. I think we struggle with dreaming bigger. We struggle with actually understanding why we work so hard in this business, why we wake up every day and continue to push for more. Why should I sell more real estate? Why do I need to make more money? Why do I need to have more rejection? Why do I need to get uncomfortable? Because we haven't had this honest conversation with ourselves. And sometimes in a peer environment like we do for Go to the Board, but you have to understand why are you doing this? What is the one thing you want to have in your personal life as a result of this business? Again, one thing. So Jenna, when you hit your goal of 40 closings this year, what is one thing that you want to have happen in your personal life that has not happened yet as a result of you hitting your goal? And you have to go deep. And this is where we bring up Kleenexes, we have tears, because this is where you move humans. The numbers are great, and I love numbers, and you need to track them, and all that stuff's important. But the heart chooses and the mind justifies. You have to, as a leader, stop talking to the logical brain and just numbers, and get in touch with the emotions of the human. Why is that important to them? What are they going to accomplish in their personal life? You will hear things like get out of debt. You will hear things like buy a new car. You will hear things like invest in real estate. You will hear things like save up a certain amount of money. You will hear things like, I just need to pay my electric bill. You will hear things like, it's really important I hit my goal so I can actually prove to myself that I can do this. You will hear things like, I need to prove this to other people that told me I was crazy for starting this career. Like there's been so many emotional moments that we've had here, but every time that we have had that, because we have the safety in the environment and I ask permission to go deeper on these conversations when they're at the board in front of their peers, but whenever they open up and they're vulnerable, that is a memorable moment, and that is a time that they can look back on that will hopefully transform change in their life, because now they have a deep meaning with themselves on why they're going to do the thing that's going to be hard. And if we're really honest with ourselves, there's different layers to this. Most of us don't know what we want out of life. Well, I want to make more money. Awesome. What for? Well, I want to sell 5 more houses. Awesome. Why? Most people don't know. Society doesn't teach us to actually have an honest conversation with ourselves and look within and figure out, what do I want out of life? So people don't know. People are just, society like grooms us to just show up to work, clock in, clock out, go home, live paycheck to paycheck, and die. I think life's so much more important than that. And we really get in tune with that with our organization. And we really touch to the hearts of the humans. And like, as an example, there was someone that wasn't able to make it to go to the board today. But he understands there's such an important exercise that he sent a video in of him today. And the reason why he wasn't able to go to the board is because 2 years ago when he joined our real estate team, he came up to go to the board and he said, I want to become a professional fisherman. It's been my passion. I've wanted to do it since I was a kid. And I think real estate is a vehicle and a path that allow me to make enough money so that I can pursue my dream. 2 years later, he's not at go to the board because he's at a professional fisherman tournament and he sends a video to the team to say thank you. If you're not going deep with your people, those moments will never happen. It's not about the numbers. It's about the people and moving their lives. Give them a purpose, give them a passion. There will be some people that they get stuck, right? We all have a thermostat in life. And I did a podcast on this. If you want to go deeper on that, go back and listen where I went to the psychology of our thermostat on life. But just a summary is that let's say that our thermostat on life is we make $100,000 a year. That's what we've always wanted to do. And then once we make it, we think, I've made it. And so we become comfortable again. And we stop chasing. We stop becoming. We stop getting in uncomfortable situations to grow because we think, I made it. That's all I was made for. And we don't know how to raise our thermostat to become someone that now can be a $150,000 earner or $200,000 earner. It's not about the money. It's about who you want to become, right? But we get stuck in whatever identity we have of ourselves. And if really what happens, we self-sabotage ourselves, if we're honest. We start doing better than what we feel we are meant to be, or things that we start doing better than what we used to do. And we start cooling the thermostat in our life because it's uncomfortable. And we self-sabotage. That's why it's so important you get in an environment. And if you're a leader listening, you create an environment that allows people to grow within it. One of the things that I say in our organization a lot is we are a personal development company. We show up every single day chasing the best version of ourselves. That's what we do here. We just happen to sell real estate. And when you have a culture and an environment like that, you get to hear story after story after story of people transforming their lives. And me and my good friend Dustin Runyon were chatting about that the other day. And what's crazy is that's better than money. There's nothing that can replace that feeling. And it's by doing this exercise and creating this culture and really going deep with your people and helping them go deep with themselves on what they want and why they want it can facilitate a breakthrough in their life that their life will never be the same.
Recruiting solves all problems. I heard that from John Cheplack at the first John Cheplack event that I ever went to, and I didn't fully understand what it meant. Let's think about it this way. What is easier to do? To get an agent who is a human to change their behavior in the changing marketplace and force them to change, or to bring in new people with new standards, with new activity, new hunger, new drive, and them start seeing results, and then everyone else fall in alignment and want to do the same activities that are producing those results. So many of us overcomplicate recruiting. We don't want to cold call. We don't know who to call. We don't know what to say. We get uncomfortable. So I've developed a solution. We've been operating this in my business for 3 years now. It's recruiting funnels that gives you a conveyor belt of recruits that raise their hand and ask if they can join your real estate team. If you're interested in learning more about a lead generation strategy that runs parallel with a real estate business, just how you run buyer and seller business, we can run your recruiting business the same way. Visit 3recruitingfunnelsbuilt.com to learn more.
Yeah, the what they want, why they want it is important. A lot of people will just stop at the what they want, if you can even get that out of them sometimes, but they'll just stop at the what they want. And really digging in, why is it so important that you want a new car? Why is it so important to you to take your family on vacation? That's where you get to know the person in front of you, and you hear stories of, well, I grew up and I never went on vacation, and I want to provide a better life for my kids. Like, there's one I remember that just will forever blow me away of like, I need to feed my kids. Like, that's my goal. I need to feed my kids. And she ended up transforming her business into such a remarkable way. I mean, she'll never go back to that ever again, and you start to, I think it's pretty good morning, but you start to hear these things and learn these things about the people that are around you. And when you're holding them accountable, it's no longer just, hey, Matt, did you, 20 conversations? It's, hey, Matt, like, where are you at on planning that vacation to Destin? I'm really excited for you to take your kids out there. I know it's a huge goal for you. Where are you at on that? Like, that's such a better connector and such a better way to hold someone accountable than just, hey, 20 conversations,
Yep. Love it. I think something I want to kind of transition to here, like that's if you guys can't get value from that, then you don't have a heartbeat, right? Like there's literally that like this is an exercise I look forward to each and every quarter. I get to know my people at a much deeper level, and I get to help them get clarity on what they want out of life and help them accomplish it. Like it's the good stuff, right? And today was no different. Today was like it was so good. Like I felt like we were in rhythm all day. I feel like everyone was engaged, high energy, everyone was excited, enthusiastic. Most of them were winning at a very, very high level. Um, and Jenna, you've been around for a while, so you've been a part of some go to the boards that were maybe some rocky culture moments, right? Because a culture is a living, breathing thing. And you said it at the beginning is like this sometimes is a good test to see where you're at as culture. So what do you look for if this doesn't like how do you determine if the culture is maybe like, hey, we need to look into this? And then what happens in a culture for a day like today to have the results that we had?
I think if I'm looking at one word you said that I think is a huge indicator is energy and the overall buy-in within the environment. If you've got an energy like today, we're all high energy. You know, one of the things we went to Spring, I don't know how to say her name, Brenston.
Yep.
Yeah. We went to her event in Salt Lake City last week, and we loved how Justin brought up people was like, yes, you know, and everyone goes crazy. And so we're trying to mimic that in our go to the board and get everyone super excited. But people are reciprocating that. They're encouraging people. The energy is just there and the accountability is there. And the times when maybe there was not as great of, or maybe where there were a little bit more red flags within our culture, I think one, the energy's low, but the buy-in is also low, where it's like, why are we doing this? Like, what is the purpose of this even? Like, why am I spending this much time away from my business to do this? There's just that negativity,
Yep.
that like toxicity around it versus like, this is the greatest opportunity for me in my business. There's nowhere more important for me to be right now than in this room, listening to my teammates, hearing what they're committing, because it's not just about me, it's about them too, and how I can support them. Like that's really where that difference is for me.
Absolutely. And I want to go through some results here of like what I feel like these exercises create. I literally made a post yesterday. We currently have 21 agents with 2 or more pendings, 17 agents with 3 or more pendings, 12 agents with 4 or more pendings, 9 agents with 5 or more pendings, 7 agents with 6 or more pendings, 5 agents with 7 or more pendings, and 2 agents with 8 or more pendings. We're at 103 pendings total as an organization, and those are the numbers, right? And I mean, I get to see behind the curtains of a lot of teams, and I'm not trying to say anything other than it is really important that you understand your environment is crucial to the success of your organization. We have some rock stars on our team, but we also have some new people that are hungry, that are making the rock stars better. We have some people in between. And the average in our environment is extraordinary because of our culture and because of these exercises and because of how we facilitate meetings like this. I mean, as an example, we have 13 agents that are on track for their goals for the year. 13. It's in Q1. Q1 is traditionally slow, right? Um, We have an agent, his business up 42% year over year. Another one up 103% year over year. Another one 104% year over year. Another one 693% year over year. We have agent that has set 40 listing appointments so far this year. Another one with 29, another one with 23, 22, 16, 15. We have an agent with 44 buyer appointments set. 28, 26, 25, 22. You get the point. We have a culture of winners. And I really think that this exercise, if you're not doing something like this or this exact one, I think you should be. And again, we'll put in the show notes or reach out to me, and I'm happy to give you a breakdown of this. But I wanted to take the time to explain the why behind it so everyone can have an impact in their organization. And they get the feeling like I had at the end of the day of like, holy smokes, we're doing something special here. This is not normal. And I love it.
Yeah, I will
Take us
say,
away.
Couple things. One, when listening to this episode and you look at that document, one thing that John Cheplack always says, don't be a tweaker. Don't try to outsmart it. Don't try to fluff it up. It works. Let it work for itself. So don't try to add stuff into it. So don't be a tweaker. The second thing is just, this is my personal perspective of Go to the Board, my favorite thing of all time. So I've been a part of these now for 3 years, and I have watched a lot of agents go up there, and I've listened, and I'm a big pattern observer. I love observing patterns and kind of seeing if I can identify stuff like that. It's my jam. One of the things I absolutely freaking love about Go to the Board is when you see an agent who maybe had a rough start or wasn't getting traction, they were just kind of stuck in that rut. You just see it click. Like you can see it when they're right there at the board, their language, their confidence, something adjusts. And right then and there, I'm looking at the agent like, they're going to win. Like this is going to be their quarter. They're about to absolutely explode in their business. And I know what's going to happen because I've seen it happen multiple times. Their lives completely change. And when I see that moment happen, it is literally my favorite ever. I absolutely freaking love it when I see an agent up there, just like, and I know their life is about to change forever. It's phenomenal.
Better than money.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Jenna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, the download will be available in the show notes. If you can't find it, reach out to me. I'm happy to send you a copy. And I'll just end it with this. If you're not doing this exercise, you should be. Even if you're just doing it with yourself, have this conversation with yourself, slow down so you can speed up. I think too many times we get stuck doing busy work and we're not actually being intentional with our time. And if you're listening to this, you're taking time away from your life, your day, your family, your business so that you can win. Go put this to action so you can win today. And last thing I'll ask is just share this with a friend. Share this with somebody who can take this episode and apply it to their business and make their life and the lives around them better. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next time.